Hello.
Paul Baylor, welcome to episode 10.
Woo, party.
I know, right?
It's episode 10.
Man, whoever had the over-under for us not making it 10 episodes, but I have news for them. So tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling about 10 episodes into this.
You know, I feel real good. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm excited that we're still doing it. So, yeah, how about you?
I feel pretty good about it. I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff. I don't feel like we're running out of juice either. I feel like we could probably keep this going. I think as long as we want to, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's fun. And to circle back to the previous episode that we recorded, let me make sure I'm actually recording. That would be embarrassing. Yeah, I am.
Woo.
Yeah. So to circle back to the last episode, I don't know. I know that we had some public support, and we had a lot of people, reach out to us publicly and say they appreciated what we talked about and everything. And I had a lot of people reach out to me privately as well. I don't know how it was for you.
Yeah, the same.
But I felt people really appreciated, the conversation and what we talked about. So I'd love to kind of hear what you thought about last week's episode.
I think for me, the biggest thing is people don't talk about these kind of things enough. I still feel that there is a stigma to talking about mental illness and depression. And that's just, that's a bag of crap, right? Like, it's no more different than, any other disease. So we should feel good about talking about it, and it shouldn't be a stigma. It should be something that we can approach, and, it allows people to, especially when you're depressed, feeling like you're alone just sucks. And if it was more, if people felt more comfortable talking about these things, I think that would help everybody involved. So yeah, I enjoyed having the conversation. As I was editing it, it made me kind of feel good that we were talking about it. And I hope at the end of the day that it just, helps somebody. Yeah,
and the people that reached out to me said that they also had some struggles with, I think that everybody has a little, I think a lot of people that reached out to me, I think would be comfortable talking about it in an open setting. But I know that some of the people who reached out to me privately said that they wouldn't. And it's something that they're not necessarily embarrassed about, but at the same time, they don't feel like they're in a position where they can openly talk about it. Either because they're hiding it from family members or hiding it from friends out of, like you said, the stigma, right? And
yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily fair. I think that, well, you know what? I can't say that because I don't know their situation.
Yeah, everybody's different, but I just hope that the more people that can talk about this stuff makes it easier for those who feel like they can't.
So I felt last episode went really well. I'm hoping that we can continue to talk about things like that for people, and I thought it was really, really good. So I really enjoyed it.
It was a very special episode.
It was. Okay, so before we get going tonight, because this is the 10th episode extravaganza, I have a very special surprise for you.
Oh?
Yeah, I have a special game for you that I created in honor of our 10th episode.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yes. So let me set this up for you. And I also need to get a pencil, which I told myself that I would have before I started here today, real quick, because I'm going to need to keep score as we go through this. So what you hear there is my pencil tapping the microphone, so I don't have to type on my clicky keyboard while we do this. So I received a Kindle for my quote-unquote birthday, right? And this particular Kindle came with the Amazon offers. So Amazon offers on the Kindle, if you don't know, basically you get advertisements for books on your lock screen of your Kindle. Look, I'm sure that there are algorithms at play here. But I got to tell you, ever since I started getting these advertisements, I've had the presence of mind to screenshot them with my phone. And what I've done here, Paul, is I have 4 questions for you. And it's kind of like 2 truths and a lie, where I'm going to read you 3 book titles.
Okay.
All right. And I want you to, I'll write down your answer. Okay. You're going to tell me which ones you're going to tell me which one you think is fake. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I have this broken into 3 questions each. So I have a group of 4 because they do repeat quite a bit, but I did manage to get 9 legit ones, and I invented 3.
Okay.
All right. So,
right.
So here we go. So we're going to start this off. I'll write down your answers. And you let me know what you think.
All right, I'm gonna take a deep breath.
All right, so hold on. Let me cue.
I'm gonna get in the zone.
Let me cue everything up here before we get going. I just want to make sure that I have everything set so I can make sure we log our answers correctly. All right, here we go. So, first group here. So here is I'm going to read you a book title, and I'm going to read you the author and then the little blurb that it shows. Okay.
Okay.
So group 1, here we go. The book title is Desires, The First Savage's Story by Shane Scott. And the blurb is, Love cuts like a knife as a killer stalks the sweaty nights of Phoenix.
Ooh, sweaty nights of Phoenix.
Sweaty nights of Phoenix. All right?
Ooh, that implies there's implications there.
Okay. Title 2, The Two Lila Bennetts by Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke. All right.
Steinke?
Yeah. I think that's how you say that. Her past mistakes have caught up with her, and one of them may just kill her. And third one is Fun Stories Greatest Hits. Take a 40-Story Vacation, Flip-Flops Optional by R. Scott Murphy. And that's not even the blurb. The blurb is, do you enjoy office humor, the craziest stories, the biggest laughs, the most fun? The 40 greatest hits are all here. Get it now. So of those 3, which one do you think I made up?
Okay, well, I think the last one is so ridiculous. That one has to be true. I don't think anybody would come up with that on their own.
Okay.
What was the title of the second one again?
The title of the second one was The Two Lila Bennetts by Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that one.
All right, so I'm gonna write down.
Mostly it's a bit of wish casting. So I really hope the first book set in the sweaty Phoenix nights is real.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna write down that answer. We'll review these all when we get done. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Perfect.
Next group of 3. All right. Here we go. The title of the book is The Untethered by S.W. Southwick. Can't find novels inspired by Ayn Rand? Better buckle up, Buttercup. That's the name. That's that one. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Then
suspicious.
Next we have When Kathy Came Home by Ray Boxall. Despite monitoring her, the FBI is unaware of Kathy's secret gift, but Kathy will use deadlier skills to achieve justice when her friend is murdered. All right. And then finally, I have Death Becomes Her by Michael and Darley. What you think you know about vampires is wrong, so very, very wrong.
I'm going to go with the first one. I think that one is a...
You think that one's a fake one when Kathy came home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
All right, here we go. Next we have... let's see. That was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we go. The next one is Saving McLean by Ray Boxall. An old, vicious entity is trying to save a small WV town from dying by getting female drifters to settle there. Then a loner drives in and refuses. All right. Next, I have The Dead One Protrudes by Dawn Thompson. Find out what pandemonium ensues when a body pops up out of the concrete at Hump Tower in Chicago. And then finally, The Wolf Moon by Tamara Haddock. Stephanie and Annabelle have until the wolf moon rises to save Amy from the clutches of a monster.
All right, I'm going to go with the third one there.
All right, so third one you're gonna go Wolf Moon. All right,
Wolf Moon. Okay, so I just want to stop for a second.
Okay.
Amazon will clearly advertise anything.
Well, just hold that thought, because
right, all right.
I also have thoughts. All right.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
final set. All right, I've got Twist of Time, number 46, Ascending by S.R. Cronin. Uncover the startling truth before time runs out in this complex search for an ancient treasure. Then we have Uncommon Prayer, a Father Flynn adventure by Scott Arnold. Spies and lies threaten everything you hold dear. ... Thank God for Father Flynn. And then finally, Whispering Pines, a novel by Kimberly Deedy. Is there something lurking in the woods, rimming a peaceful Minnesota resort? A suspenseful story full of plot twists, mystery, and more.
All right, I'm going to go with the second one.
All right, so you're going to go with the second. All right, so you're going to go with the second one here. So, all right, so just to review, you had for the first one, you had the two Lila Bennetts. For the second group, I believe you had When Kathy Came Home.
That's correct.
And then for the third one, you had Saving McLean. I think, right? Was that the one?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the final set, you had which one was that?
I think for the third one, I had the Wolf Moon.
Wolf Moon, right. And then for
Wolf
the third one, you had...
And the last one, I did the prayers with the...
Oh, yes.
Thank God for
Uncommon
Father.
Prayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so turns out those are all real. So I'm sorry that I had to trick you.
Me.
I'm sorry that I had to trick you.
Wow, those are all...
Those are all real books.
Wow.
Okay. So so basically I've been reading books on my Kindle for the past 2 weeks since I've gotten it, and all of these things are real, and they pop up, and I have pictures of all of them, which I will make available to you so you can see some of the ridiculous cover art that these things are accompanied with. Woof, it's out of control.
So I wonder how much it costs to advertise your book.
Well,
I'm
okay.
using the word book loosely. On people's Kindles.
I've done a little research here. So the first thing is, 98% of this garbage is self-published, right? So
of course,
right? So basically, the requirement for getting published is, I don't know, having a credit card. And the other thing is I don't really know how much it costs to get added to this, because I think technically I'm getting these advertisements from Goodreads. I'm not really sure how the offers fully work with this.
Okay.
But I think these offers come from Goodreads. That's my assumption. So
wow.
I'm getting yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're getting bombarded with crap.
Yeah.
Well, these could be just the next bestseller. You just don't know it yet.
So my absolute favorite one of that whole list, I'm going to tell you, right? My absolute favorite one that I saw this, and I literally almost dropped my Kindle in the toilet when I saw this, was Twist of Time, number 46. There's 46 of these books.
And how long are these books?
I don't know. I'm too scared to look.
Hold on. I'm going in. Okay, so it was called the
Twist of Time 46 Ascending.
Okay, here, The Twist of Time 46. It's got a very nice cover. Yeah, it looks like it's totally not stock images.
Is that the one with the two thirsty young lads on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Hold on. It is... Wow. It is 308 pages.
300?
For the 11 people who read it, well, that's questionable. It's 4.5 stars.
I mean, look, everybody's going to like what they like.
Alex is a former basketball player who has always been able to bend time. These days, he teaches physics and parents 3 quirky children alongside his unusual wife.
And and I had a couple others that I took screenshots of, and I don't have my phone near me right now to go over them, but some of them were just really, really lame titles that didn't really give you any sense for what the book was. And the art was just a picture of the book title. So it wasn't like there was cool cover art. So while you have it open, I want you to look up Death Becomes Her by Michael and Darley. Look, check out the cover art on this baby. Tell me what you see.
Okay. Well,
Like, whose bad fan fiction is this?
Yeah, she has some sort of okay. So it is a woman, and she's doing a she's got her chin down, kind of eyes up, so she's kind of glaring at you with a very evil look. So the obvious draw is she has one normal eye and one eye that is red and has, I don't know, monster stuff around it. But my favorite detail is the very subtle, clearly poorly done in like MS Paint or very poorly photoshopped on there, trickle of blood coming out of her mouth.
Okay, so yeah. I must have gotten a different piece of cover art, because the cover art that showed up on my Kindle was what appeared to be a woman in leather pants with, I guess, a little looser leather top, holding a katana and a pistol, with another woman kind of silhouetted behind her, and then what appeared to be SEAL Team 6 exploding in the background. So look, bottom line is this, is... my algorithm must be way off for the books I read, because I tend to read a lot of like biographies and a lot of other things other than this. So yeah. So that's been my adventure with the Kindle offers. So there you go, Paul. There's my gift to you. I will continue to keep track of these. Maybe this could be a reoccurring bit as I continue to read more on my Kindle until it learns or doesn't. Yeah.
Maybe these books just sell in such high quantities. It's like, I don't care what you like. Death becomes her. Boom, here you go.
So think about it, right? Now, I don't know what it costs to get a book self-published. I don't.
I don't know.
But I have to think that in this era of digital distribution, it's probably not much, right? Like, you probably pay a little bit of marketing. You probably pay a little bit of, I don't know, some kind of fee up front to make this happen, right? But once it's there, like, you get a cut, I assume.
So it's free if you do Kindle only. And you get up to 70% of the royalties. Now, they have a publish to print, and they do not tell you the fees for that. Just, yeah. You get free tools. Free tools.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, power to the people, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you want to sub-publish a book, you go right ahead, right? I mean, it's there, and you have the tooling, and, we can never use enough books. But, my goodness, these recommendations. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the game. That was quite a treat.
All right. I'm glad you like that. So that's my
great.
little gift to you. So all right. So now with that out of the way, I'll let you kind of drive the next topic here, because I know we got some listener stuff other than the feedback on the session we did last time. So I kind of cherry picked a few things, but by no means is that what it needs to be.
Okay. Well, do you want to do the everyday carry?
Yeah, I think everyday carry is a good one. So, all right, tee us up here.
Yeah, this one comes from Bestie Andy, and he was asking, on the heels of our bag discussion, what is your everyday carry, especially if you have folding knife recommendations? So for those of you who don't know, if you can't figure it out, everyday carry is... I kind of take it as the stuff you always have with you, whether it's something you carry in your pockets, stuff that you always have in your laptop bag. It kind of includes, wallets and like multi-tools and knives. So I have a few things that I want to talk about, but why don't you tell us something you carry every day, Drew?
All right. So my everyday carry, I am not a person that jams a lot of things into pockets. So I don't carry keys because the car I drive just has a fob. I will say, though, that I did put my P.O. Box key on my key ring for now until I find a better place to store it and keep it. So my everyday carry, right? So just to preface this, I'm not going to say my keys just because, I don't know. I just don't really carry a key ring. I have ways of entering my home that do not require a key, so I don't carry keys for that. I just carry a key for my car. I will say that the thing that I almost always have on me, and I'm going to spark an argument for us here, is a very thin wallet.
Okay.
I have a Ridge wallet, and we'll definitely put a link in the show notes to this. So what it is it's basically like a little, I almost want to call it a clamshell. It's basically two little pieces of titanium with a elastic band around it that kind of compresses anywhere from 3 to 8 credit card size things. So like in mine, right, I've got my debit card, credit cards, driver's license, medical insurance, different cards and things in that. And I like it because it's small, because I don't think that men should carry around huge wallets. And it has all the things I need in it. I'm not a person who carries around pictures in his wallet, and I don't have, coupons from 18 years ago for stores that don't exist anymore, or punch cards or anything like that. So that's all I got, right? So I just carry that around. So Paul, I know that you, on the other hand, are fat wallet life, right?
My wallet has considerably gotten thinner, but yes, I have more of a traditional wallet. In fact, I just got a new wallet recently for my birthday or Father's Day. They're close. It's just a leather bifold wallet. I like the feel of leather, and I don't want something too crazy, so I just do a bifold wallet. And I carry, I don't know, probably more than I should in there. I have, my license, a couple of credit cards. Well, yeah, a couple of credit cards, health insurance cards, because that's very near and dear to me. I have like my zoo membership in there. And probably more receipts than I probably should carry, though I've just recently cleaned it out. Yeah, but I don't know, I've looked at the thin wallets, but I just don't, it doesn't do it for me. I like my traditional leather bifold wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, it just works for me.
Yeah. Now, the Ridge wallet I have, like I said, is the titanium one, so it's got a little heft to it, right? Because I tend to carry it in my front pocket. I don't put it in my back pocket, so I don't I don't want a big bulky wallet. So other than that, let's see, everyday carry thing. So I've got my wallet, I've got my phone, obviously. So I have an iPhone 10. I guess that technically counts as everyday carry, even though I think everybody technically has a cell phone they carry every day. So I'm going to throw that out. I carry a phone, right? But I will say that one thing I almost always have on me are my AirPods.
Same.
Yeah, I think AirPods are great. I think they're wonderful little headphones. I think they sound amazing. Again, they have a small carrying case that acts as a charger, and with the new AirPods especially, the pairing is super seamless and super fast. They boot up really quick. They're easy to use quick. And they're great for taking calls. They're great for listening to music either, when I'm on my computer or if I'm listening on my phone on the go. I could quickly pair them to multiple devices very easily. So my AirPods almost go with me everywhere, and I think you are probably in the same boat there.
Absolutely. I love having a pair of headphones in my pocket all the time. It's regardless of, heck, even when I'm around the house, I almost always have my AirPods either in my pocket or close by. Even like if I have to put laundry away, I'll just throw my headphones in, turn on a podcast or an album, and, even though it only takes 10, 15 minutes, just having the AirPods always with me, always charged. They pair so quickly, I don't even think about it. Just shove them in my ears, hit play. They have really, it sounds kind of stupid, but they've changed my life. Like, I always have a good pair. They're always with me. I love them.
And here's the thing, right? Like, I actually do like good headphones.
Me too.
I think that having the headphones, I think, having good headphones is important. And like the headphones I'm wearing right now are actually really good. And I use them for gaming, and I listen to coding to and playing games and listening to music when I'm on my computer in my basement. But I will say that like when I'm actually working in my office at my house, I tend to just use my AirPods because I can quickly switch back and forth between using them as listening to music or videos or something on in the background, and then jumping on like a Microsoft Teams call. So their versatility is one of their biggest strengths, and they're just nice. So yeah, I carry those around everywhere. I'm not a knife guy. I have a couple folding knives, and I know that some people do carry knives around a lot of different places, and I've tried at different points in my life to carry some knives around. But I don't know what it is. I just don't think to pick it up when I go anywhere. So if I'm ever carrying a knife, it's almost by accident. What about you?
Yeah, I do not carry a knife with me. If you kind of extend my everyday carry to my laptop bag, I always have a multi-tool. And I'll put the link into what I have in there. It's just it's solid. It's got a pair of pliers. It's got screwdrivers, a saw, and it's got a little blade on it. And I try to keep it sharp. But I don't use it very often. It's not in my pocket. Yeah, I'm not a knife guy.
Yeah. So that is the stuff that I carry around on like a daily basis. Now,
Yep.
Okay, so let's extend this a little bit. So let's talk about stuff we keep in our laptop bag, because I think that if you travel to and from work every day or something, like, I think that's totally within scope. So in my laptop bag, something that I always throw in my laptop bag when I'm traveling anywhere, whether it's just to a local office or on a bigger trip anywhere, is my Apple Magic Mouse. So
Okay.
I use the Magic Mouse daily. I think it's great. It's Bluetooth, and it's very responsive. I love the gesture support on it because I constantly flip back and forth between virtual desktops. It holds a charge tremendously well, and it's just a nice piece of hardware to touch and use. And I have smaller hands, so I think it definitely fits in my hand very well, and is a good compliment for me. I think you and I have talked. I don't know if we've talked on the podcast about our mouse choices. Maybe that can be a topic we can talk about another time. But I know that you don't enjoy the Magic Mouse.
I like it. I use it at home, where I use my computer generally less than at work. But if I use it for a long period of time, it causes some discomfort in my hands. But I like the features. I like the look of it. Yeah, I'm actually holding one right now. But at work, I use something much different, and we can talk about that another time.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll table that, because that I have thoughts, and unless you've changed what you've used since I've left, I know what
nope,
it is.
Nope.
And I'm ashamed for you.
So one thing that I always try to have with me, I have a set in my car. I carry a set in my laptop bag. In fact, I just ordered a new set the other day, which I'll be getting soon, is I like to carry lockpicks. I discovered the joy of lockpicking a few years ago. And I'm not a master criminal. Very occasionally do I get to, show off my skills and pick a lock for somebody. But it's a hobby I enjoy. And it just makes me feel good to have a set of lock picks with me. And the other day I ordered a new, it's called the Jackknife Pocket Lock Pick Set. I'll put a link in the show notes. But from casual observation, it looks like a pocket knife. But inside of there, it has a tension wrench and 5 different types of lock picks, depending on the lock and what you prefer. And I'm very excited to get that. And that's either going to go on my keychain or in my laptop bag. I'm guessing probably my laptop bag, because I don't like a lot of things in my pockets. Mm-hmm. But it's thin, it's light. I'm very excited to see how it feels. And
yeah,
lock picks.
Yeah, so I also own a pair of lockpicks that were bought after I played with your lockpicks, because you have a bunch of you have a bunch of practice locks, which is such a great little desktop distraction, is to practice picking locks.
I have more now. Woo!
Oh, you do? I know
yeah.
you had that whole container full for a while.
Yeah, I actually have a nice... I'm going to mount it somewhere. It can be like viced to a desk, and you can put various locks in it. So you can buy just the lock cores and practice. And it also, one of the things I haven't learned how to do yet is how to actually rekey locks. So take out the pins and adjust the springs. That's something I want to learn to do as well.
Yeah. So I also own a pair of lockpicks, but I don't keep them with me at all times because I think that there is still some legality question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the last thing I want is them in my bag and my bag going somewhere where that's going to be a problem. So that's my only fear.
Yeah. According to the internet, they're only illegal if you're possessing them with the intent to perform a crime.
Oh boy.
So that's vague.
Yeah, I can totally see how that would never be interpreted incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay, other thing I want to mention is I also have a travel hard drive that I throw in my bag for all sorts of reasons. And this is the point in the show where I'm going to say that if you have the means to go out and get a travel hard drive, just don't buy something off the shelf or something from Amazon. I'm a big advocate for basically buying a SATA or PCIe chassis and buying your own SSD hard drive and putting that in there. So it doesn't matter if you're on a Mac or if you're on a PC, as long as you've got USB 3.1 or greater, or ideally USB-C or even better Thunderbolt, you can buy basically a portable hard drive enclosure that is small and thin and has a detachable cable, and then you can go spend probably about $100 for a super reliable, super fast, 512 gig or 1 terabyte SSD that you can just keep in your bag. It's great for file transfers between computers if you're out and about somewhere at a conference or at work. If you're allowed to have portable hard drives at your work, I realize that that's also a thing. But it's great to have for storing things, off to the side, like maybe images of operating systems or, server images or VMs or things you would want to run that you may not necessarily want to keep on your laptop all the time. So as somebody who goes places and presents, I bought, a chassis and a hard drive, and I host VMs on that. So if you catch me at a conference and you see me doing a presentation, you'll probably see that hard drive plugged in. Even though I have plenty of space on my regular computer hard drive, I just like to keep those things separate so I can take them between different things if I need to. So, I know it's pretty easy to say, well, I'll just keep a USB stick in there. Well, you know what? I have more money than time, and a lot of these USB sticks are good in a pinch, but if you really want high sustained throughput for hosting things like VMs or demos or, databases, if you're looking for a copy of the Stack Overflow database, like, pretty invaluable to have.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I have a little thumb drive, but I never thought of actually just throwing a little SSD external drive in there. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? If you go off the shelf and you buy a Samsung or Western Digital SSD, you're going to pay probably about $200. And that's me without even opening an Amazon window.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to like a Micro Center or even on Amazon, if you go and you buy one of these chassis and then you buy like a Samsung Evo 860 or whatever the newest generation is, substantially less money and probably more reliable and faster. If you're on a Mac, you could easily spend a few $100s and you can even get a Thunderbolt 3 PCIe M2 enclosure. The enclosure will probably cost you 3 times as much as the hard drive, but it's the closest thing to having native bus speeds on an external drive. Like, from everything I've read, they're amazing. But when it was time for me to buy one, I didn't. So maybe after Christmas or something, where if I've got the extra $300 or $400 laying around, I might build one of those for myself. But I'm not holding my breath right now because what I have works.
Now, what I do carry, because much like you, I have a MacBook Pro, so I am rocking the USB-C lifestyle. Is I carry the mother of all dongles. It is Vava, I believe that's the name of the company.
Yes.
8-in-1 USB-C. It has an HDMI port. It has 3 standard USB 3 ports. It's got an SD card reader. It's got a mini SD card reader, and it's got Ethernet. So I don't use it very often. It pretty much just stays in my bag. But if I'm ever in a pinch and I need to connect to a television or plug in anything that's not USB-C, it's nice to have just sitting in there. And it's got a cute little, like, it's thin, and it's got this cute little, like, mouth that opens up that makes an Ethernet port. So it's, it's closed and it stays thin.
Yeah.
It just opens up and like, yeah.
I think we have very similar product line choices for our dongle life. So this kind of strays away from the everyday carry thing, but listen, you can't have a MacBook Pro and not live in dongle town. So I'm just going to group all this together and say that I have a dongle bag, right? I've got a bag full of cords and adapters and stuff that lives in my laptop bag. I've got simple USB-A to USB-C little things that I can plug in. So if someone has a flash drive and I need to copy something, and I can just pop that bad boy in there. I've got Thunderbolt cables and Lightning cables and all sorts of things that I might conceivably need to interface with a Mac, right? So as a presenter, I've got a bunch of presenter dongles. So I've got USB-C to mini DisplayPort, to HDMI, to regular DisplayPort, to VGA. And, I've kind of bought these things piecemeal. I know that I can buy an adapter that has all those things on it, but I've sort of just bought them as I need them. So they all just kind of live in my dongle accessory bag in my laptop bag. And I do have a quote-unquote little hub like you were just describing. I have one of those too, but that lives in my desk. I use Wi-Fi in the house just because of where my work computer is located, so I don't have a hardwired connection there. If I did, I'd probably plug it in more, but I typically don't plug that in unless I need to basically plug in a couple USB devices, because literally everything I have on my desk, from my monitor to my microphone interface and everything, is all USB-C at this point. But everything else would get plugged into that. But the one thing it does have that I use probably quite a bit is a card reader. So if I'm flashing Raspberry Pi images or things like that, that gets some use then too. Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see. I just have a bunch of other little, like, odd sundries that I keep in my bag. One is kind of a travel thing of Advil or Tylenol, just because you never know.
Yeah, same. Yep.
If I find that if I ever travel anywhere, I never drink enough water, so I get dehydrated, I get headaches. So I tend to just keep some sort of pain reliever in my bag if I can. I've got my crazy flying medicine bottle in there too. And I have it's not little actually, it's actually a glass microfiber cloth. The same you would use on like a car window or a window in your house, I keep in there, because nothing is better for cleaning your laptop screen or your phone screen than a microfiber towel.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about those cheap little silk ones they give you at like a trade show. I'm talking a full-on, it's folded in fourths microfiber towel, right? Because, just like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you never really should be without a towel.
That's right.
Yep. So that's kind of my everyday carry stuff. Is there anything else, Paul, you kind of cram in your pockets, or anything else you want to bring up there?
I don't think so. Like, I really don't like a lot of things in my pockets.
Yeah, same.
So, I mean, I have keys, but I try not to, like, if I'm at a place, I'll throw them in my bag or throw them in my, my drawer at work. The only thing I will say that I really like about my keys is I have a limited edition Due by Friday, which is a great podcast, keychain that says, "Oh no, my rocks."
I know, and I'm insanely jealous of that keychain. You know that, though.
Yes.
You know that.
It's amazing. It's really the best podcast out there. It's far better than this.
It really is. It really is. Okay, so hopefully that it's a nice little discussion. It's a little window into our worlds and what we carry and what we don't. So, and I know that Andy sent us a bunch of questions, so I'm going to table some of them for other discussions because we can't make this the Andy Levy Power Hour. Sorry, Andy. So, but we will get back to your other questions.
Yeah, we appreciate it, but we'll get to it in time.
Yeah. A couple other things that I want to talk about. So I did complete my MacBook Pro keyboard repair.
And how was that?
So interesting. Now I know that you have a MacBook Pro and you have fallen prey to some of the keyboard woes that are common to our kind, and mine was starting to go too. Now, the way I have my MacBook Pro set up is that I don't type on the actual keyboard all that much. I have it propped up on a stand, and I have a wireless keyboard that I use on my desk every day. But when I do need to type on it, the fact that my E key was really starting to give me phantom key presses, like the debounce on them was starting to go, and my name has a lot of E's in it, that's a problem.
Yeah, at least 13.
So, at least, it's an ungodly number. So bottom line is I finally bit the bullet and decided that it was time to get my keyboard repaired. Now, for those of you that have followed along in the show or followed along on the saga because you like to hate on Macs, or you own a Mac and you understand our plight here, here's the deal. The Apple MacBooks, actually I think all the Apple laptops at this point, moved to a really small mechanism called a butterfly keyboard. The advantages of it are it can help you make the laptop really thin because the keys don't have a lot of travel. The downside is pretty much everything else. So a lot of people don't like the way they feel when they type. The arrow keys are not laid out in a traditional fashion. That doesn't affect me as much as it affects other people who make software. And there is a problem with the mechanism. And Apple hasn't said, there's a problem, but Apple does say we'll basically replace your keyboard for free if you have a problem. So it's a non-denial denial in my book. So bottom line is I have a late model 2018 MacBook Pro. And on the new 2019 refresh models, they have yet again not supposedly, I think that they actually have done it. I think they have made some more refinements to the mechanism. So, my keyboard has been flaky for a little while, but I was waiting to see if they would continue to update the key travel mechanism on the keyboard to support longer life and better durability. And so, it looks like they did. So long story short, I was in a place where I was ready to get this done. So here's the process. So the first thing you have to do is you have to reach out to Apple to say, I'm having a problem. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. You basically can submit a form on their website, which is the way that I did it. And they give you two options. You can either do chat support, or you basically type in your phone number and they say, we'll call you within 5 minutes. And like the minute I hit enter, I got a phone call. So It was pretty quick. So they call you, you explain what's going on. And at this point, you have two options. You can either send your computer into Apple, right? They will give you instructions about how to ship your computer to Apple, or they are now doing these repairs at an Apple store. Time was, you either had to ship it directly to Apple, or if you took it to the Apple store, they would ship it to a repair center. But now these keyboard repairs are being done by people in the actual Apple stores. So when Apple called me back, I explained the problem, and they wanted me to do some troubleshooting steps, but I basically told them, look, I'm willing to do this, but here's what's happening. I'm pretty sure this is an issue. The gentleman on the phone agreed with me, so he said, okay, I'm going to schedule you an appointment at an Apple store. So based on the availability of the Apple store, I basically made my appointment for a Friday morning as soon as they opened. My reasoning is that the nice gentleman on the phone said that the average repair time for these things is 24 to 48 hours, depending on volume. Okay. So I thought to myself, I'll take this in on a Friday. I will use my non-Mac computer for the remaining day Friday, and if everything goes well, I'll get it back on Saturday. Worst case, I'll get it back on Monday at lunch when I can drive over to the store and get it. So made the appointment. right? So gate number 1 is complete. Gate number 2 was going to the Apple Store. So you go to the Apple Store and you walk up to the nice people when you walk in, because it's kind of organized chaos in there. You say, hey, I've got a Genius Bar appointment. I'm here for a repair. They bibbity blop, squiggly bap on the iPad. They find you and they say, oh yeah, go have a seat at, and they point to some random table. A couple minutes go by, person comes out, they say to you, hey, are you Andrew? Are you here for the repair? I said, yeah. And they basically do a bunch of diagnostics and ask you a bunch of questions. Now, when I brought it in, the gentleman that was helping me said, he goes, okay, there's a couple different things we can do. We can either repair your broken key or replace your whole keyboard. And he kind of phrased it as, look, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm giving you the option to tell me you don't want that. So I said, no, I think I just want the new keyboard mechanism. And he said, this is, you're right. This is one of the newer ones. You're going to get the newer keyboard. So he starts squiggly bapping on the iPad. He puts my computer into some weird diagnostic mode with some arcane key presses to boot it up. And he was actually running the diagnostics from his iPad over some like personal Wi-Fi network, which I thought was pretty cool to watch.
It's pretty neat.
And that diagnostic took about 15 minutes to run. So while he's doing that, he's starting to go through and he says, okay, so, we don't have you have the 32 gig memory MacBook Pro. We don't have the part we need to fix your keyboard. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Because I just assumed that they pop it open, they replace the keyboard, and they put it back in. But that's not how it works. To replace the keyboard, they basically have to take the entire top off of your computer and replace it. So they're replacing the keyboard, the top case, the battery, the touch bar, and the fingerprint sensor. So all of those parts on my computer are new. So in order to do that, they basically had to find that part. And I think I brought this up on the last show, or maybe I told you in person, is that they had the silver part, but they didn't have the space gray part. And they basically had to put an order in to get that part shipped to them, which took about 3 days. So they got the part in and they said, just make sure you bring your computer in, before Saturday or whatnot, or else we have to send the part back for other sites to use, right?
Right, okay.
So did that, took it back in on a Friday, dropped it off in the morning, worked on my actual PC like an animal for the rest of the day on Friday, and they had it turned around Saturday, right? I just go in. They gave me a phone call and an email to say, hey, it's done. I showed up. The new keyboard does feel a little bit different, but I also have a brand new battery. I have a brand new touch bar. I've got a brand new fingerprint sensor, which I did. The only thing I lost, I didn't lose any data. I didn't lose any settings. I didn't lose any keychains. I didn't lose anything. The only thing I did lose, because I think I did get a new fingerprint sensor, was my stored fingerprints. So I just had to redo those. But all in all, not terrible. Now, I was in a situation where I could use my MacBook Pro during this time because I was using an external keyboard and I wasn't traveling anywhere. Probably would have been a different story if I was traveling more for my job right now. So I kind of timed it good on my part, but I could definitely see if you're a person who, goes to and from a lot of meetings, either remotely or in your office, like not having your Mac for a couple days would probably suck. But for me, just taking it in Friday afternoon and doing a half day on Friday and then picking up on Saturday worked really well. So I have to give, even though obviously I have opinions about, the butterfly keyboard life, I got to say that my overall experience here was pretty good. This wasn't an AppleCare repair. It was covered under the keyboard repair program. There was absolutely no cost to me. So it was pretty favorable. So if you've been on the fence about doing it, I'm going to suggest that you do.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that sometime, or again, where I can have the opportunity to kind of give my laptop up for a few days. Unlike you, I don't have any other computer. This is the computer I use for work. It's my personal computer. I probably could scrounge up a laptop, someone, if I needed it, but yeah.
I'm sure you could get a loaner, or you could go back to that big monstrous monolith.
Yeah.
After it got, 2 gigs of updates or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something I want to. Also, something that's bothering me is my A and S keys. Some of the key is wearing off. So, Apple keys are all backlit, right? So it's got a dark plastic and then it's translucent. So I assume there's some sort of paint they put on it and some of it's kind of wearing off. so my A and S look pretty sad. It'd be nice to get that fixed as well. Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't have a newer MacBook, so if I get my keyboard replaced, I'm going to get the exact same crappy, the exact same make of keyboard, no improvements. But, hopefully, if I get a new laptop, I'd like to hand this down to either one of my kids or my wife, so at some point I like to get the keyboard. Yeah, before then.
Well, yeah, before then you would probably get the keyboard replaced with the caveat of this is probably going to break again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so, shout out to Apple there. They made it pretty easy to do. I obviously wasn't a huge fan of having to drive over to get it tested and then not have the part. But, listen, I get it. It's all supply chain stuff. They can't just keep all these parts in stock at every store. So, I get it. So if I had any gripes, it'd be that. But on the grand scheme of things, it was a minor inconvenience. Shout out there. So if you've been on the fence about getting your keyboard replaced, it's pretty seamless. Just follow the prompts. You'll be fine. Yeah. So how do you want to cap this one off, bud?
You know what? So I'm thinking that we push out the last topic to the next show. And right. I really think we should end the show with the retrospective.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. We started that at the beginning before my excitement got the better part of me there.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's a great end of the show.
All right. So let's do this. Let's make this like a little side-by-side interview.
Okay.
Right? I'll kick it off.
Okay.
So what has been, Paul, what has been your most favorite thing we've done on the show so far?
So this is going to sound really corny. My favorite thing that I've gotten to do on this show is talk to you every week.
I'm still not going to sleep with you.
No. Honestly, I love... I think the Chernobyl, when you talked about Chernobyl, is a good example of this, where I love just setting you up a little bit and then sitting you back and listening to you talk. You have a great way of telling stories and describing things. So, like, I'm like the rest of our besties here. I just like listening to you talk.
Yeah, but it's not my show.
I know,
right?
but that is still my favorite part is hearing you tell stories. So, I said the Chernobyl one that's one of my favorites. Is just hearing the passion coming out of you. Yeah. Now, what about you, Drew? What is your favorite thing?
All right, I'm not gonna take the lame way out here.
Okay,
so,
I did.
I'm very disappointed in you, if I have to say. Okay, I think that the best thing that we've done has been the corn dog stuff, without a question, right?
Yeah.
Because that was a multi-episode arc. It required a field trip. We got to go have lunch. I'm still not convinced I had a corn dog. I'm just going to go on record. So I don't think the book is fully closed on this one yet.
Wait.
But that was fun, right? Because it was something that it was a new life experience for me. You were there to hold my hand. I thought it made for pretty good radio. We got some pictures. I got to try something new. I'd like to continue that. I'm just not sure where we still need to make a field trip down to Dirty Frank's. So we need to make sure that you and I get that on the list, and maybe we extend the invite to any of our Columbus listeners. Any listener really that wants to make a trip to Columbus and come down and force feed me corn dogs. Maybe we can make it maybe we can have a little contest, like who could eat the most.
I'm not sure how many corn dogs I could eat, but
like full on stick on corn dogs.
Yeah, I'd enjoy. Yeah.
Because
it's going on the list.
Well, because if I understand correctly, there is an added difficulty check of doing this without choking on the stick, right?
You do have to navigate the stick and be aware of it. Yes.
Navigate the stick. Oh boy. So I think that's probably been the most favorite thing that I've done. All right. Let me keep this going. So has there been something that we've done that you think didn't quite land? You still liked it, but you're hoping it would have landed better.
That is, you know what? I should have done more homework.
Well,
I've enjoyed all of it. Do you have? I will think about this. Do you have something you have?
Yeah, I think that I had a better opportunity to really stretch the jury duty experience out a little bit. But, part of it was I didn't get the full jury duty experience. So I'm hoping that, I am willing to learn. Maybe they'll have me back and I can bring more jury duty stories back. Because I feel like I could have expanded on the jury duty experience a little bit more by talking about individual people. But, I really wasn't there to people watch, right? And it's kind of scummy. Yeah. But at the same time, there were some pretty interesting people there. And I could have easily made that a 20-minute segment on some of the people I saw. But, I think in the grand scheme of things, it was probably better that I didn't. So I felt like that segment probably could have been a little bit better. So now you've had a minute to collect yourself.
So mine is, I really wish I was able to express my confusion about Roblox better. I think I caught some of the big things, but it is just a baffling game, and I have so many questions. And I wish I'd had another shot to truly express my confusion with just how that thing continues to be popular.
Yeah. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos on Roblox when, funny YouTuber Let's Players have played it, and wow, there's so much going on there. I'm gonna put a link, put a comment in show notes because I think you got the doc open right now, and I don't at the moment. Yeah. Put a reminder in there, and I'll drop some funny YouTube Let's Plays of Roblox in there.
Yeah, okay.
And to kind of give you the experience. All right, so talk to me more. What else are you thinking about the show so far?
I'm really having fun doing the podcast. I love talking to you every week. I love the ritual of getting my mic set up and getting my audio interface right and recording the audio and doing the editing. It's something I actually look forward to every week now. If there's one thing I want to do more of is I want to get more besties. I want to find out how to make our audience bigger. Well,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I think this is a good segue into kind of the future of the show, right? So I think that if you were to like tag, right? If you were going to add some meta tags to our podcast, I think you and I are both here for the gear.
Yes.
Right? We love talking about our gear, and we love talking about workflows, and we love talking about funny stuff that happens to us, and we like getting listener questions around that. And a lot of the listener questions have been around gaming and gear and other most questions have been around that. Let's put it that way. And I think that those are good topics. I think that those are I'm of the opinion that that's pretty low-hanging fruit because I think you and I can easily talk about that stuff.
Right.
But, talking about moving the show forward, right, and expanding our audience and things, right, I think that we will eventually get a much more diverse audience that does have suggestions or questions for us on topics that we know about. So I think one thing that we could potentially do better is maybe, and I don't know, I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on this, maybe talking more about our day-to-day jobs and stuff we use in our day-to-day jobs, right? Whether it is, DevOps related or database related or Azure related or, coding related. Like maybe we put some things in the show notes to talk about stuff like that because, I think to more casual listeners that don't necessarily work with those things every day, maybe that's a turnoff, maybe it's not. But I also think it gives an avenue to other people to get into the show and maybe ask us questions about stuff that we do.
Okay.
And answer questions about that. I don't know. What do you think?
Hey, I'm down to talk about anything. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
All right. So, mental note or side note in show notes to talk more about work-related stuff without talking about work specifically, right? Like about people we like and don't like about work, but like actual work-related stuff that we could talk about. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah,
because I think you and I both work with pretty cool technologies, and I think that would make for... I guess we don't know till we do it, right?
Yeah, mostly I send email now, but I used to work with lots of cool technologies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a career. It's fine.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's get that on the docket. I think that would make for a pretty good discussion. But to your point, right, expanding the show, I think that there are ways to expand our audience that would cost us money.
Yes.
And while I'm not averse to spending money on stuff like that, I kind of want the organic growth.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It almost feels like, buying some ads would just be kind of like, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah, and I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm not in it for that. I'm
no,
in it first and foremost. I'm in it for the gear. I mean, you're a nice to have. I'm here for the gear.
yeah,
And yeah, you're right. I don't want to spend money promoting us because the grand scheme of things, like, who are we really? Right?
yeah, exactly.
Like every once in a while, I'll see some rando promote himself on Twitter. Like, it's a promoted tweet, but it's just one of his dumb tweets, and I'm just like, come on, man. Like, man, you really want that blue check mark? I guess, I don't know. So, growing the show. Yeah, I think that I think that the best we could do there is just appeal to the people who are already listening, right? If you enjoy this show and you think people who would enjoy listening to us, the best compliment you can give us isn't to tell us, hey, nice job. It's to tell other people that we're doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
Like, go out there and tell other people, like, hey, Paul and Drew do this podcast, and they're a bunch of goofballs, and they talk about weird stuff, but, I'm into it, so you should give it a listen. And they like it or they don't, but at least you helped us out by helping us, grow our audience, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best way. Yeah, if you like it, tell a friend.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul, I've made a joke of this before, even though it's not a joke, insofar that you do most of the heavy lifting for this show. You do the editing, you do the posting to all the different platforms. I write show notes, but you post them. So two-parter here. One, is there anything you're doing right now that you would want to do less of in terms of putting this show on?
You know what? And this is legitimate. I really enjoy doing the editing. I've got a good flow down. I enjoy it. Now, I'm going to disagree. And I think the most important thing about making a podcast is consistency. And in my opinion, you do one of the most important things that can be done is you make sure that, we figure out when we're going to record next, and you send out the meeting invite every week. So it's on the calendar. It's on both of our calendars. We cannot forget it. It's right there. It's not like, we'll decide when we're going to do the podcast. Yeah, you are the keeper of consistency. And I think that is the number one most important thing that we need to keep doing is just, keep recording, keep putting these out there. We're going to keep getting better, keep getting more listeners. So don't cut yourself short. That is a very important job.
Yeah, but I mean, really, what am I really doing here? Like, I have an if-to that basically sets that stuff up. So, like,
No.
I have a robot. Yeah. A robot. I built the robot. Like, the robot's doing that work. It has one job. Yeah, so remind our listeners, though. So tell us about your workflow, what applications you're using, what hardware you're using for editing.
Yeah, so after I get the audio, I throw both. So on my end, I record my audio, and I also record the Skype recording that hopefully no one ever hears. But in case of a disaster, I have the full Skype recording. And Drew records his side of the microphone. He sends me his file, and I upload all of those to my iCloud Drive. I use an app on iOS called Ferrite. It's made by a company called Woogie Juice, which is I couldn't make this up if I had to. But they do, they have Ferrite Recording Studio. They have some synthesizers. They basically just do audio. And it's a very simple multi-track audio editor. I don't do a lot of edits. I strip out silences. I look for, I try to reduce some of the crosstalk. I try to keep some of it so it sounds organic and like a natural conversation. Mostly, my biggest edits is kind of noting when one of us slips up and says a naughty swear, so I can bleep that out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at that. I'm also trying to. I know that I do this, and I know that people are willing to rip me for it. I definitely say too much. So
yeah.
I am trying to be better at that, but like when if I really get flowing in a conversation, it is hard to rein in.
Yeah.
And I try to watch the I try to watch the likes, and that's just going to come with time.
Yeah. I try to do the same thing, and being someone who's a little self-conscious, having to listen to themselves, monologue for, a few minutes on end, that's probably the most uncomfortable part. I'm trying to figure out a way to make my mouth drier so I don't have the noises as quite so much. That's good audio right there. Yeah, but I don't do a lot of editing. Occasionally I'll cut out something that just didn't work or I felt was going on a little too long, but I don't make a lot of edits. It's mostly just taking a
show is the show.
Yeah, the show is the show. Then there was an see, yeah, I'm all self-conscious now and I'm doing it more.
Well, see, yeah, now you're all no, you just keep being you. Yeah, I think that since we've started, I have noticed the quality of your editing getting better and better and better each time.
Yeah, like anything else, it takes practice. The more you do anything, the better you get.
10,000 hour rule. So these episodes are about an hour each. So 10,000 episodes in, I think we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we'll be king of the world.
Let's see here. Let's see. Is there anything? Okay, so we talked about the technical aspects of it. Is there stuff that we do on the podcast, or do you think that is there stuff we shouldn't be doing that we're doing? I don't really know how to ask that question.
Yeah,
I guess is there something that we do that we shouldn't be doing, or something we should change? I mean, because this isn't episode 3. We've been doing more of this now, so I think we're in a place where we can ask that question.
Yeah, I've thought around hey, do we need to focus on something, or have a gimmick that we're always talking about the same kind of things? But I kind of like the just conversational, shooting the crap format. Having some ideas, working through them, talking about it. I don't know. What do you think, Drew?
I really don't know. I feel like each episode we do, we do have our rough outline, and I feel like we can definitely fill an hour talking about the topics that we talk about. I don't know. I feel like the flow and the process that we have right now is good, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we should change from a process perspective. I mean, I would say if anything, just getting better at maybe time boxing our discussions so our transitions aren't as abrupt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of times they'll put in little music breaks or little jingles in between different topics so you don't have that abruptness. But I think that's part of our charm at this point, because we are, at the end of the day, really awkward people.
Yeah. I mean, I can add jazz breaks.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to do it. But if you were to experiment with it, I don't think I'd be adverse to it, at least to try, or funny sound effects or something.
Yeah, I can get a soundboard. We can do more. Yeah.
Okay, so that leads me to the final question I want to ask you. When will we know it's over? What is the topic that we'll get to that's you know what? I think we're done here.
Oh, what is the topic? Oh,
like our bottom of the barrel, right? Our bottom of the barrel. Okay, we've gone as far as we're going to go.
Oh, I don't know. We can go pretty low.
I mean, I'll talk about whatever.
Exactly. For me, I think it's going to be the first time we have a discussion about something that we've already talked about and we forgot that we talked about it.
It's clearly in the notes and we still don't know.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, okay, you know what though? Not for nothing. Hold on. In our defense, right? Our Google Doc is now 8 pages long, and in that 8 pages, we have topics for discussion, and we have every previous episode's outline,
just in case. Yeah,
just in case. It's there, and it's getting to be pretty sizable. So, I think Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's good. Oh boy, yeah, no, I think I don't know what else do you think? Is there anything else you want to bring up on this topic? Because I think that's a yeah.
I think for me, it's over when I'm not having fun anymore. And
I think that's the answer, right? Like, if the minute it gets to be a chore, and I definitely don't feel that way now.
No, I don't.
Because this is a good thing. This is a good thing to carve out on a Thursday or Friday night to just do. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I look forward to the conversation. I look forward to the editing. I look forward to, really some of the best moments is when someone just, like, I'm at work at the office and someone said, like, hey, like, I listened to a bunch of your podcasts and I really enjoyed this topic. And, hearing that feedback and knowing that, like, there are actual people out there that are listening to what we're saying and enjoying it. And that's, that makes me feel good and it makes me want to do it more. Yeah. So, like, thank you. Literally, if you're listening to this right now, you're an awesome person. I love you. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, so a couple things. One, I think we'll go ahead and probably call this an episode. So, Paul, people finding us online. If you live online and you use online and you're part of the internet community, where can people find you, Paul?
You can find me on Twitter at Paul Baylor. That's BAHLER. And where can people find you, Drew?
I'm on Twitter at PITTFURG, and now that my new role, my new job is starting to stabilize a little bit, I will be getting back into doing some more speaking engagements and presentations and things like that. I will probably maybe announce those things on here. I don't know. We can talk about that.
I think you should.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think you should.
But I definitely have some engagements locally and not locally coming up, so definitely look for more things there. So... Paul, where can people send us listener feedback or ask us questions or find out show notes?
Yeah, so you can either contact us on Twitter. It's doingbestpod. You can send us an email at contact@doingtheirbest.com.
Yep. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and end that one? And listen, everybody, we would love to hear more from you. If you have more questions, definitely send us stuff over. If there's topics you want to hear us talk about, it doesn't really matter what. And we're going to keep this going. So once again, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.